Hello, welcome to Talks with Toni. Happy Friday to everyone out there. So today I have a guest with me. For some reason, they don't let me do it alone anymore. I always have to have company. So here we go. Today is Sarah Lehman. Sarah, how long have you been with the agency, with Friends of the Family now?
Oh, goodness. I've been with the agency since February 2016. But before that, I actually worked as a volunteer in our community education department for an entire year.
That's pretty cool. That's what I officially call the recycle program.
Yeah.
Like, we have lots of people that come to us as volunteers or interns and then kind of get recycled into staff and maybe transition to other positions even. So that's one of the really cool things, is the opportunity for growth and development, I think, here at the agency. So Sarah has a really cool program that she participates in for us, and she is our high-risk advocate and works on the legal services team. So our legal services is led by our staff attorney, Donna Bloom. So not only do they legal representation, but they also look at systems work. So looking at those larger systems, whether it be law enforcement organizations, whether it be, in this case, Sarah's going to talk about Child Protective Services, CPS, and really looking at how systems can have more kind of welcoming or sensitive interactions with victims. We want that touch point to be effective for the victim, but we also want it to be people who are informed and knowledgeable about the trauma that victims of domestic violence or sexual assault have experienced. So for your project, talk to the people a little bit about what you do specifically, Sarah.
Well, absolutely. So one of the things that our agency has learned throughout the years, especially with the help of our director of our legal services department, is that people who are experiencing these the dynamics of the intimate partner violence from their partners, is that it obviously that time is a very, very, very dangerous time for them. And one of the things that we've seen in our community happen simultaneously is that a lot of times these families will also become involved with child protective services. And the reason why that intersection is so important is because for many people, the danger that they experience just being in the relationship is usually very high. But whenever there's an open child protective services case, is that there is a separation that occurs within the relationship, because our Child Protective Services does a really great job in identifying that these relationships usually are very unhealthy. And one of the things that they do to try to help keep that family safe is that they separate the offending parent from the unoffending parent and their children. And one of the things that we know at our office is that whenever there is a separation, whenever a partner tries to leave their abusive partner, it becomes the most dangerous time for them in that relationship. Sure. Our agency has realized that, and we've realized that whenever there is a family who comes to us for help, and they also have an open child protective services case, we realize immediately that there might be this time of inorganic separation where they need increased services from us, because they could be at a higher level of danger at that point.
Absolutely. So when you find that you're working with the families, and we offer our advanced curriculum, that program that also provides support, and then on the offending side, we now have a contract with Child Protective Services where they will support and pay for offending parents to come to our Batteries Intervention Prevention program, and then on that side of the house, then we can provide the services. And then, of course, the children can always be seen in our children's counseling services. So for you, you're really sometimes coordinating all those services for that family and their experiences, and then going with them to support them at maybe their CPS meetings. They have those meetings they do with the family planning and so forth. So some of those things are some of the tasks that you do as well, right?
Absolutely. So very often, one of the ways I become involved with the family is because we receive a referral directly from Child Protective Services to try to help this family that they've begun to work with. Other times, a family may have already connected with us, and we identify or screen that they do have an open Child Protective Services case. But specifically in my role as high-risk advocate, even the words in my title are really important, because with this special population within this even more specific intersection of people who are experiencing domestic violence who have an open child protective services case, one of the things that we know is that these people, these mothers, that they have a higher risk of having their children removed because they are victims of domestic violence. Yes. So that's the whole reason that I have my name, is because we know that these women have such a high risk of having their children removed just for being victims of violence. So I know just within my role of being inside our legal services department, our biggest goal is to try to help prevent these removals, because one of the things that we know working with Child Protective Services is if we can help connect these mothers to very concrete safety services in a very quick and nimble way, then we can help prevent children being removed from their families.
Absolutely. So we want to decrease those risk factors that are leading to the reasons why CPS would need to remove the children. So if she needs some housing, or she needs some support, she needs counseling, she needs a lot of times those very physical immediate needs, if we can help to close the gap on time from her for those needs, if we can get her into those services and those programs or support sooner, then we can subsequently help her to be safer and more stable, and subsequently the children are safe there, and Child Protective Services is fine with leaving the children there. So it's all about, for us, trying to manage the risk and to, to increase the safety factors. That's a lot about what Sarah does here at Friends of the Family. And when we think about those children, we have 350 children that we're going to provide back to school supplies for this year. Mm-hmm. So we need your help. Yep. Reach out to us. You can certainly click on the link here, or go to our website and click on How Do I Help kind of link, and you can get engaged with us. And Stephanie is leading us on these efforts. We're going to we need backpacks and binders and highlighters and paper and pen, all the great stuff that the children will need for school. And not only helps us out for these children that are immediately going into school, but also kids that we will have that will come into our shelter over the course of the next year, who will come and sometimes just giving a kid a backpack as they are transitioning to their new school, because perhaps they didn't get to bring their backpack with them when they had to leave home in under very difficult circumstances. Mm-hmm. So we thank you in advance for that. Sarah, anything else you'd like to share with people about your program and the project that you do?
Yeah, so I know I spoke a lot about helping to prevent those really special types of removals, but the other thing that I do in my role is that I help support all of our other advocate staff in terms of whenever they're working with a family who has an open case, because whenever there's a family who is experiencing any form of domestic violence, they can also have a Child Protective Services case where the department or Child Protective Services is not looking to remove their children, but that doesn't mean that family doesn't need help navigating Child Protective Services as a system. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the biggest supports I help provide our shelter staff, our transitional housing program staff, and also our outreach advocacy staff, because it is confusing. And any way that we can help close those gaps is and help make sure that the people we're trying to help feel 100% confident and informed about the systems that they're working with. That's always our biggest goal, is that we always want to empower the people that we're helping and working with.
Absolutely. So we always say invest in safety, mm-hmm. and that's where it starts here. How many families do you have on your caseload currently?
Oh my goodness. I would say on my immediate caseload, anywhere between 10 to 20, but I also work concurrent cases with our shelter staff, our outreach advocacy staff, and also our transitional housing program.
So at the high risk level, we wouldn't want that caseload to exceed about 30, 35. Other advocates are working caseloads of about 60, 65. Sarah worked in our advocacy outreach team prior to transitioning to legal services to become the high risk advocate. So lots of work and lots of efforts and opportunity happen here at Friends of the Family. Help us by choosing to invest in safety, hope, healing, justice, and prevention. We are your team in Denton County that does that, and we consider it a privilege to do so. We thank you for your support. Hope that everyone has a wonderful and safe weekend, and we'll see you next Friday on Talks with Toni.